Ready for medical career growth? Yes, you are in the right place. Hello, this is Dr. Neema Bisht, BDS by degree and a pharma professional. As a founder of CareerInPharma, our mission is to guide medical professionals towards remarkable success in the pharma industry. With a track record of over 700 plus students trained and placed into various premier pharma companies, we are here to elevate your journey. Hello guys, once again I welcome you all to CareerInPharma. Now in today's video we are going to discuss few important terminology related to pharmacovigilance, and again which can be a very big help and which can be important interview question if you are give interview for pharmacovigilance profile as well as for clinical research profile also it will help. Yes, so this is next series, another episode of our series into important interview questions of pharmacovigilance. Yes, so let's begin. Now in today's video we are going to discuss what is overdose, because these are the common terminologies interviewer may ask you in interview. So we'll understand what is overdose, what is off-label use means, what is misuse, what is drug abuse, what is occupational exposure, and what is falsified medicinal product. Yes, so I will start with overdose. So as the name is suggesting, any dose which is over the maximum recommended dose, that is MRD. So people who have their subject pharmacology in their graduation, they must be knowing what is MRD, that is the maximum recommended dose for any drug. Beyond this dose, if we are giving any dose beyond this maximum recommended dose, that will come in the category of overdose. Yes, so overdose is nothing. This refers to administration of quantity of a medicinal product given per administration or cumulatively which is above the maximum recommended dose. Maximum recommended dose as per reference safety information, as per authorized product information. So authorized product information means the leaflet which we get in any medicine, any drug, those leaflets as per the reference safety information, if any dose is there which is above the maximum recommended dose, that will be overdose. Yes, so this is overdose. Now what is off-label use? Yes, so off-label use means the label is what? Label is which you get with any drug or any product, right? Label of any product means that product information which we have, the leaflet which we have. So any use which is off the label means whatever is mentioned in the label, whatever is mentioned in the reference safety information, whatever is mentioned in the authorized product information, any use other than that will be the off-label use. Yes, so this relates to situations where the drug, the medicinal product is intentionally used. Now off-label use, very important point here is to understand is off-label use is always intentional. So what happens, prescribers, doctors, they are doing this, that is they are intentionally prescribing the drug which is not as per the product information, which is a off-label use. Now it could be off-label, could be in terms of doses as well, in terms of indications also. I will give you an example. For example, minoxidil is a very popular antihypertensive. So initially minoxidil started as a antihypertensive. Now one of the side effect of minoxidil is hair growth, right? Hair growth is one of the side effect. Now once it encountered that minoxidil's side effect is hair growth as well, so many prescriber doctors, they started using it off-labelly in patients who want hairs, mean in patients with alopecia, they started this drug, and now minoxidil is a very famous drug for hair growth, but it was not there before. So once they started the off-label use of minoxidil for hair growth, then they started companies, they did clinical trial, they get approvals, and now minoxidil is a recommended authorized product for alopecia treatment, right? So that is one of the example of off-label use, where because of maybe some effects of drug, which could be side effect, which could be any other effect, can be an advantage in some other patients. Okay, that minoxidil example I already gave. So this is the off-label use, any use which is off from what mentioned in the label and is always a intentionally given by doctors, prescribers. Yes, so that is the off-label use. Other is misuse. Now what is misuse? As the name is suggesting, any use which is misused by the, now see, doctors will never misuse, right? Now who misuses? Misuse is always done by the patient side. Yes, so misuse is again, because it's a misuse, definitely it is always an intentional use. Yes, the patient know that they are misusing it. So drug misuse is an intentional use of a product which is not in accordance with the reference safety information and the authorized product information. Yes, so that is the misuse, which is an intentional use of the product, not as per the recommendation, as per the authorized product information, but by the patient. Off-label use also was intentional use, not as per RSI, but that was done by doctor. Drug misuse, here the patient is misusing. So both are intentional. Difference is drug misuse is by the patient, off-label use is by the doctors, by the physicians. Yes. So drug misuse and an intentional use of a product not in accordance with the reference safety information and approved product information, and which is inappropriate. Definitely it is not appropriate. We are not using it as per product information, as per ISI. So that is not justifiable also. Yes. Now misuse example, let me give you. Fentanyl patch everyone knows, right? So fentanyl patch it's a pain killer, okay, and the patch is used so that the drug can be released slowly. So in the form of patch, fentanyl patch should be used as per the reference safety information, as per the API. But if the patient is, in place of putting that patch, if the patient is scraping the patch and then taking that scrape material into an injection and putting that injection, so this is the use of fentanyl patch not as per the reference safety information. So this will be a misuse. So patient want effect soon, or that's why they are taking it in the injection form, but fentanyl patch is not recommended in the form of injection, right? Other example is, let's say the patient took cetirizine tablet, 2 tablets. However, doctor prescribed only 1. That is another misuse. In many cases, cough syrup is also misused by many, because cough syrup give you a sedation feeling where you feel drowsiness, sleepiness also. So that also misused by many people, especially in India, where there are laws are not very strict, implementation of laws are not good, so patients are misusing. So this is the example of misuse. Just remember one thing, off-label use is an intentional use not per recommendation by doctors. Misuse again is an intentional use not as per the reference safety information but by the patient. Yes. Now another is drug abuse. Yes. Now drug, see, misuse is like once in a while the patient is doing, that is misuse. Now, but abuse is when the patient is habitually misusing the drug. So habitual use of a drug, okay, habitual use of a drug to alter mood, emotions and state of consciousness is a drug abuse. There are many drugs which can alter your mood, especially narcotics, which can alter your mood, your emotions, which can make you feel happy for little time. These kind of drugs patients are misusing, and if it's a habitual use, then it's a drug abuse. So again, it's an intentional use by the patient just to alter their mood, their emotions, and it's a habitual use. Yes. So drug abuse is always used in the setting of chronic use, long-term use, not a single time use. If it's a single time use, we can say misuse, but it's a habitual use, we can say abuse. Okay. For example, the patient is putting 3 patches of Duragesic instead of 1 which is doctor prescribed, because it is it helps in improving mood. So patient is using more than what is prescribed. Cough syrups, like I said, cough syrups, if they are using 1 or 2, that is misuse. If they are using habitually cough syrups for drug abuse, then it will come under the drug abuse category. Yes, so misuse and drug abuse, little differences, that habitual use is abuse, sometimes is misuse. Yes, but both are intentionally done by the patient. Last category, which is very important, is drug dependence. Now when the abuse go to the later phases, that converts into dependence. Means already patient is in a phase of drug abuse, where the patient is abusing himself or herself to getting the high effect of the drug. Now that the same thing is going to convert into dependence when there is a compulsive or chronic need, when the patient is in addiction phase. Yes, so how we can differentiate abuse and dependence? So 7 elements we need to see. If that are present in the patient, we can say that now the patient is in dependence phase, not just abuse. Okay, so what are this? So first of all, we can see that the patient who are in the dependence phase, drug dependence, they are very much tolerant to even high dose. Second, if you withdraw the drug from these kind of patient, they will have withdrawal symptoms as well. So we can say patient is in drug dependence phase. Patients are ingesting more than what is intended. Yes, now patient knows that they are taking more, then they will also have a desire to cut down the medication. That is another feature. Time involvement will be more. That patient, you can see that patient is not doing anything else, and whole day the patient is in just taking drugs and then in that phase only. So time involvement is very much. There will be reduction in the social and recreational activities in the patient. Means patient is so much into that drug abuse that patient is now dependent on the drug and is not able to do any recreational and social activities as well. And they know that this is the problem, but despite of this, they are continuously using this. These are the elements. If these are present, you can say now the patient is dependent on the drug and not just abuse. They are dependent on the drug. So at least 3 of these 7 criteria should be there to call it as a drug dependence. Yes. See, if patient is habitually using it without these 7 elements, then it will be just drug abuse. But any of these 3 elements will be there out of 7, then we will say that patient is in drug dependence phase now. Yes. So dependence on any drug means that your body has become so used to the drug regularly that you need that drug to function normally. If you don't get the drug, you will not able to function normally. You will have withdrawal symptoms, and if the drug is stopped, you will feel unwell also because of the withdrawal symptoms. Yes. So some drugs that cause dependence includes nicotine, morphine, heroin, cocaine, and amphetamine and alcohol. Yes. So this is about drug dependence. Now this drug dependence could be psychological, could be physical. Now psychological means where you will have a craving or you will be compelled to use a particular drug to give you pleasure. You will have that drive, you will have that craving to use the drug for your pleasure. Physical dependence means if the drug is stopped suddenly, you will get withdrawal symptoms. So that will be physical. That you can see instantly. Okay. So let's say if you are dependent on heroin and you stop using heroin, then you may get withdrawal symptoms. So that is about drug dependence. So we discuss overdose, we discussed off-label use, we discussed misuse, we discussed abuse, we discussed dependence, drug dependence, and now there is something called occupational exposure. Now what is this occupational exposure? This refers to the exposure to the drug as a result of one profession or even non-profession. Okay, for example, one nurse is going to give an injection to the patient, and while doing so, that medicine spill on the nurse's skin. That will be the occupational exposure for the nurse. Because of her profession it happened. But if the same drug is going to spill, if the same drug came out and spill on the patient's skin, that also will come under the category of occupational exposure, but the patient not because of patient profession that happened, right? So it refers to exposure to medicinal product as a result of one's professional or non-professional occupation. Okay, so that is the occupational exposure happening because of someone's occupation to them or to the patient also. Yes. So this is occupational exposure, but in occupational exposure, please remember it does not include the exposure to any ingredient during the manufacturing process. We call it as occupational exposure once the exposure happens, once the finished product is there, once the release is there because of the finished product. Yes, please remember this. So that is, we call it as occupational exposure. Yeah. Now last is medication error. Medication error is an unintended failure in the drug treatment process. Means this is not intentional. This is happening by mistake. Okay, as the name is suggesting, it's an error. Okay, so it is not intentional, it is unintentional, happening by the mistake. That we call as medication error. But again, medication error may also lead to harm to the patients. Okay, now the medication error may occur at any step, while prescribing, while dispensing. Okay, so medical error are basically the error from the healthcare professionals. And these are the mishaps that they may occur during prescribing, while writing the drug, transcribing, dispensing, while administrating, adherence or monitoring of any drug. So examples, first of all, misreading or miswriting of a prescription. And types of medication error are prescription error if it's done by doctor. We call it as transcription error if there is mistake by pharmacist. Okay, writing of what I have spoken, right? Maybe the pharmacist wrote something incorrect thing. Yes, indenting error, indenting error, printing error may happen at the level of nurses or pharmacists. So this is medication error. So in this video we learnt overdose, off-label use, misuse, abuse, drug dependence, medication error and occupational exposure. Yes. Now please remember, overdose is something where it's above the recommended dose. Off-label use is intentional use of a drug not as per reference safety information by the doctors. So in interview they may ask you these terminologies, they may ask you for examples, they may ask you what is the difference between off-label and misuse, what is the difference between off-label and medication error, what is the difference between misuse and abuse, what is the difference between abuse and dependence. Yes. Now one last I want to tell you is falsified medicinal product. Now what is this falsified? This relates to any false representation of the drug. Now this false representation could be its identity, maybe during packaging, labeling, or maybe in name, or maybe in brand name, maybe in composition. If there is any false representation of any of this, then that comes under the category of falsified medicinal product. Yes. So this is all about today's video, where we understood the important terminologies, which is one of the important interview question. And I hope I was able to give you clarity with examples. I quote examples also, so I hope you get clarity. But still, if any doubt is there, any confusion is there, please comment below in the comment section with your doubt, or maybe if you have any other thought process, or maybe if you have some other understanding of any of these terminologies, please comment below. I would love to read all the comments, and I would love to clear all your doubts. Yes. So with this, I am going to conclude this video. And if you really like this concept, these terminologies, if you really get the clarity of these concepts through this video, then please don't forget to like this video, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get more clarity of more topics through our future videos. Yes. So I am going to conclude this video. Will be coming soon with some fresh next video. Till the time I come again, till that time, please stay safe, aware, healthy, updated, and keep exploring new things. Have a nice day.